Hello everyone, today's part 8.2 of our little tutorial series, and today we're going to learn how to make our character customizer actually global. Okay, I'm sorry guys that I was away for a little while. I think it was like 5 days or something. It's just a matter of like it's New Year's, man. You gotta use drugs. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. But anyways, basically what we're going to do is make our character customizer that is locally inbound, which is like on that was taught on part 8.1, and we are going to make an you know global. We're going to share that information with other clients. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that via light years. So I guess the first thing to do would be actually to show you guys like the structure itself. Okay, like for example, let me just change screens. I actually changed screens. Oh my god, I'm getting good at this. But here's basically like the algorithm logic, which is something I'm gonna start to do. Okay, I'm gonna start doing that every time I make a video because I think it's really important, for the video itself. But basically, as you might recall from the previous part, right, we had the following. We had our EGUI, and our EGUI made a little. No, can we make that conjunction? I don't know. I don't think it can. So our EGUI sent an event. So here we actually send so our EGUI sends an event, and as she did that, we actually captured that event, which basically gave us a lot of information. If you want to remember, the event itself was a change jar event, right? And that event gave us a bunch of information and basically made it possible for us to spawn and despawn a portion, the portion of our character, right? So basically, like when it comes to MMORPGs, we want to do that, right? We want to spawn and despawn a portion of our character according to the portion that is related to, which is basically like what modular characters do, right? And which basically all character customizers do, right? And after we did this, right, we had to do something called animation transferring, right? We had to do animation transfer. What does this function did was basically transfer the animation targets, right? That's what it did. It transferred the animation targets from the animation skeleton, which is the main skeleton, to the other skeletons, to the other skeletons of the visual parts, which is basically like the part that is getting despawned and spawned, right? So basically that's what we did, right? But here's the thing, that is only local inbound because we only did this achieving the predicted entity, but we didn't actually tell the other clients to actually get along with it, right? So that was an issue there. That was an issue, right? So I'm just gonna do a little bit of a zooming, and also I'm a little blind because, as I said, you gotta do drugs on New Year's Eve. But basically, we had to do this, right? So we had like a observer, which is the same thing as an event reader when you come to think about. And like we just did this like customized function, and you're gonna notice right here on the end stage of it, before we actually send the transfer animation target event that actually triggers the necessity to actually transfer the animations from one bone to another. We actually send like this save message kind of thing. And this is like a global message in Lightyear. I don't remember if I actually taught you guys how to actually send a global message in Lightyear, but it's actually quite simple. First, you guys need to bring up this resource manager, which is a connection manager, right? Which is just a resource, right? We can see it here, right? Now, let me just see if there is like here. You query for this resource manager, this connection manager, which is basically the guy who's going to manage all of your connections, and then you're gonna send this like specific type of message. So you're gonna notice that we have a lot of messages, but what actually matters in this stage is the change char message or the change char division of our save message. Why are we doing this? Because we want to save our character. So basically, like when let's say when the player, right? So basically, imagine this EGUI as the player. So I'm just gonna actually write here EGUI equals player, right? Imagine like this: if the EGUI is our player, right? we want to save that information when he makes the adjustment, right? We want to save that, right? Every time he does this, like he sends like an event, like that actually changes it, we want to save that information. We want to save that information, right? So every time we do this, we want to save that, right? Um, and basically, like as the character does that, so every time he does that, we actually want to validate that, right? We want to validate this. This has nothing to do with the character customizer itself. It's a validation stage, right? We want to validate this information, right? Because we don't want the client to just start hacking. Validate the information, right? We don't want clients to get hacky, and that's why we do it, right? And once we validate the information, we are going to actually, tell client, hey man, this is okay, which means we are going to change the confirmed entity, right? That's basically what we're going to do. So basically, like when he sends the event, right, to spawn and despawn the portion of our modular character, which is basically going to make the character customizable, right? Which is basically going to make, before he does this, which is basically like the character customization stage of things, we want to validate that, right? Of course, usually you want that to happen. Uh, so player can see, the validation stage. You actually can see the skins and stuff like that, so there is no issue to that. So that's basically why I did it in a manner that actually we validate while this is occurring. So basically I validate everything. You guys don't necessarily need to follow that along, but I actually made it so you guys need, you can validate whenever you want, right? Yeah, it's more like dynamic, I would say. But basically, after he finishes that, he's going to change the confirmed entity, right? We're going to validate the information, going to change the confirmed entity. And once we do that, well, it's pretty simple. We are going to do the customization stage, to everything here. So I'm just going to actually make a little box here, right? We're going to make a customization stage. Let me just grab the box and leave it here. Take this test, do a little bit low here, and basically we are going to do the customization stage, customization stage again, right? So basically that's customization stage again. So basically that's what we're going to do. We're going to, customizing again, right? And like, and you might be wondering, oh, but we already customized him locally, right? So we don't actually need to do this again. Because yeah, we don't actually need to customize him locally again. We do need to customize him uh, on the other clients. So basically, we are going to send. How we do this? You guys might be wondering. It's pretty simple actually. We via server, actually send a message to all the other clients that are not him, right? So that's basically what we're going to do. Let me just find the function again, guys. Every single part of this code is here. So if we see here, we're going to validate visual change, right? Which is what I said we're going to do. And when we're finished, we are going to send the message, save message again to every single target except the client ID who actually told me that information, but only if he passes the validation stage. Okay. Of course, we didn't do the rollback stage, right? We didn't do the rollback stage. Why? Because I actually don't know. It's not that I don't know how. Is that I don't have enough skins to actually, get that going right now. We're going to get an artist, I think, on Friday, which is basically today. So yeah, so basically, like we are going to have as we get more artwork going, I think we're going to have more, ways of doing this validation stage. But for now, it's just a warning. Hey, you cannot do that, but he still does it. But just a warning. But basically, we broadcast that message to everyone, right? And that's pretty much it, right? We broadcast this save message, and then we have a guy who actually captures the save message. And you might be wondering, why are you broadcasting the save message itself? Because we have other validation stages that usually also need to occur. That's why we are doing via save message. You can make exclusive message to it. I wouldn't recommend because usually that involves a lot of code repetition. So I would recommend that you guys usually just make every single thing on this so function, right? So anyways, we're gonna send the save message, right? And we're gonna send the save message to player. Player is gonna get that save message. and he's going to do this little function, right? This little function here, which is customize player on other clients. It's pretty much the same thing as the local player. Maybe we could avoid a little bit of code repetition, but yeah, sometimes you need to repeat code, sometimes not. But like to be honest, we could. It's just a matter of like, I got lazy. Because when we do the validation stage, we're gonna notice if we actually have the change start event. If we don't, we are going to do something different, which is the rollback stage, right? That's basically why we did it in this way. You guys don't need to follow the same logic. You can make it simpler if you want to, but that's pretty much how we customize globally, right? So after we confirm the entity, we do the customization stage again, and that's pretty much how it goes. But there is like an optional value, and like sometimes on the future, you guys gonna notice that this function is probably going to have something called a rollback, which is basically like going back to a previous stage. So this is like a rollback, right? Let me just try to write this. So this is going to have a rollback stage if it's not validated, right? Rollback stage, right? And it's gonna, oh, we can actually write it here. If not validated, right? So we're going to have like a rollback stage, and that's pretty much the logic itself. Okay, guys, you're gonna notice that it has a lot of Scala draw going on here, but that's basically the approach that I want you guys to understand. I want you guys to actually understand the logic that's happening here. That's why I did this video. Okay, that's pretty much it. This is part 8.2 of our little tutorial series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you tomorrow.